Hey everybody, welcome to Gary Talks. One of the big movies coming out this weekend is the final Mission Impossible film. Gearing up for it, I did a rewatch of all the previous movies, and in today's episode, I'm gonna rank them. It's been about 30 years since the first Mission Impossible came out, and I know when that movie came out, I really wasn't a big fan of it. I thought it was fine, but I hadn't really watched the television show that much. When the second movie came out, I also wasn't a fan, and I figured this was a franchise that would just kind of fade away. By the third film, things started turning around, and by the fourth, the franchise found its voice and became what I think is better than modern-day James Bond films. It has the fun that Bond lacks, it has great stunts, fun characters, and it's really a great franchise. But let's get into what I consider the weakest of the Mission Impossible films, Mission Impossible 2. John Woo's take on the franchise is a stylistic oddity, full of slow-mo, doves, and over-the-top gunplay. It tried to transform Ethan Hunt into a brooding action hero, but it lost the ensemble spirit and intrigue that defined the series. There's value in the operatic ambition with a few decent action beats, but it's too self-serious and disconnected from what works best about Mission Impossible. It's easily the weakest link in an otherwise stellar franchise. I already said I wasn't a fan of the first two movies, which means coming in at number 6 is the original Mission Impossible. Brian De Palma's original still crackles with paranoid tension and noir style. The Langley heist remains legendary, and the film's slower pace feels more in line with the TV show that inspired it. However, in hindsight, its twists are clunky and some of the tech now feels quaint. It's a solid thriller, but compared to the kinetic evolution the series underwent, it feels like a promising prototype rather than the polished machine it would become. Even though I didn't love the first two Mission Impossibles, what was interesting about them was that each one had a different style, a different tone. A different director came in and made the movie his own. But since Part 5 on, we've had the same director, Christopher McQuarrie, and to be honest, a lot of these movies kind of run together. They all feel the same. I mean, they're fun, but they're filled with the big stunt, the exposition, the spycraft, and they sort of run together. Coming in at number 5 is the movie where I first really started noticing that these movies are interchangeable, and that was Mission Impossible: Fallout. While Fallout is widely celebrated, it's technically masterful, but ultimately emotionally cold. The action is great. I mean, you have the halo jump, the Paris car chase, the helicopter showdown. It all showcases Tom Cruise's daredevil commitment. But narratively, it leans into repetition and feels more like a collection of highlights than a cohesive story. Henry Cavill adds brawn, but the plot stretches plausibility in places. It's Mission Impossible at its most intense, but maybe not its most inspired. Coming in at number 4 is Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. A bold, globe-trotting ride with echoes of classic spy cinema, Dead Reckoning Part 1 juggles AI paranoia, franchise legacy, and enormous stunts, including Cruise's jaw-dropping motorcycle cliff jump. It's ambitious and layered, but occasionally weighed down by exposition and a setup for Part 2, which is now going to be known as Final Reckoning. It's a visual feast and a timely evolution of the franchise, even if its narrative gets tangled in the setup. Still, it proves that Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie know how to keep stakes high and expectations higher. Coming in at number 3 is the movie that, if someone were to ask me where should I start watching this franchise, I would say start here, because this is where the modern Mission Impossible really started coming together. And that is J.J. Abrams' Mission Impossible 3. J.J. Abrams revived the franchise by giving it emotional stakes and the franchise's greatest villain in Philip Seymour Hoffman. It's lean, mean, and personal. The film dives deeper into Ethan's personal life, making the danger feel more intimate and human. While the action isn't quite as large-scale as later entries, the bridge assault, the Vatican break-in, and the Shanghai finale are standout set pieces. Abrams brought heart and tension back to the series and laid the groundwork for the Ethan Hunt we'd follow into the next decade. Next up at number 2, Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. Barely missing out is my favorite. Rogue Nation builds beautifully on the momentum of Ghost Protocol, introducing a worthy antagonist in the Syndicate and Rebecca Ferguson's breakout performance as Ilsa Faust. Christopher McQuarrie's debut in the director's chair brings a more espionage-heavy flair. It's less bombastic than its predecessor, but tighter in construction. The film nails the blend of spy thriller and blockbuster and pushes Ethan Hunt into a chess match where brute force won't save the day. It's smart, sleek, and ultimately very rewatchable. And now coming in at number 1, my favorite Mission Impossible film, Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol. Brad Bird's Ghost Protocol is where Mission Impossible truly leveled up into elite action cinema. It reinvents the franchise's tone, balancing globe-trotting spectacle with grounded character moments. And it delivers one of the most iconic sequences in modern film, Tom Cruise scaling the Burj Khalifa. The pace is relentless. The team dynamic clicks perfectly and the action is both inventive and practical. There's a sense of fun without losing the stakes and the visuals are razor sharp. It's the movie where the franchise found its modern identity, and Cruise's Ethan Hunt felt like more than just a spy. He became a mythic action figure. Well, those are my picks. What's your favorite Mission Impossible movie? Do we think that Final Reckoning is going to be the best? I honestly don't think so, but as long as it's just somewhere there in the middle, I'll be happy. Everybody head out, check out the new Mission Impossible movie in theaters, and I'll see you next week on another episode of Gary Talks.
From capes to tapes, Gary's on the case. He's breaking down each scene, every place. On Gary Talks, he's quick with his peculiar wit. From plot twists to the comic strips, Gary's flipping sick.